we have forgotten that we are a machine. So our body is a machine. And we're dumping in a lot of stuff into that machine that shouldn't be there.
And we're so susceptible to peer pressure and to advertising.
Of course.
And just, feeling that sense of entitlement. Like, well, I worked hard today. I put in a 10-hour day. Hey, A, I'm tired. I'm going to pull into the drive-through window. And B, yeah, I deserve that supersized serving of fries because, I worked hard for it.
We convince ourselves.
I worked hard sitting at the, computer all day.
It's a cheap energy source. Our bodies are machines, and we make energy. That's what we do, right? And it's cheap. You have a quick little, hamburger or a bag of potato chips. It's just quick energy, right? And it's destroying our machine.
I have such a difficult time with two girls ages 8 and 10, and even though I've tried to raise them on healthy eating, and when I pack a lunch for them, they get teased because they've got chopped up tomato and onion in a little container, and then they've got a couple slices of cheese and some yogurt. And okay, there's sugar in there in the yogurt, but it's better than giving them a cookie or a candy bar. And the other kids tease. Oh, they always have fruit. And the other kids tease them a little bit because they're not eating Lunchables or some of this other junk that they're not going to school with a bologna sandwich on white bread. So there's just a lot of...
I was teased like that as a kid because my parents made very healthy lunches for us. And I remember that we were made fun of because I didn't have the cookies to swap out with other people, and we had carrot sticks and we had apples and we had all the healthy ingredients, which luckily, knock on wood, all three boys are really, really healthy.
Yeah. It makes a difference.
It does, absolutely.
I wanted to ask you a question on a different topic, but one that intrigued all of us when we received it from one of our viewers. Do cell phones cause brain cancer?
We know you've been waiting for that answer.
The trillion-dollar question, okay? There's been a lot of research, okay? What's important to understand is, what is a cell phone? That's the first thing, okay? Well, it's a device that transmits and receives radiation. Electromagnetic radiation. That's what's all around us right now, okay? Is that device, however, powerful enough to give off enough radiation to penetrate the skull, affect the cells inside, okay? That's the big question, and we don't have an answer to that. We have a lot of literature coming out right now. There's a report just last week looking at patients in Scandinavia saying that there was no relationship between cell phones and brain cancer, okay? Do we have a definitive answer? No. Do we have research supporting that they're safe right now? Yes, we do. We all use cell phones, okay? Our culture is tied into cell phones. It would be devastating to all of us if we couldn't use them anymore. So this is a lot at stake here. That's why it's the trillion-dollar question. But as of now, there's no good research supporting a direct link between excess radiation close to your brain and brain cancer. With that being said, just be wise. Don't have your kids or yourself with the cell phone next to your head 24/7. Use your Bluetooth device. Use your speakerphone when you can. Keep the radiation away from the brain until we have a definitive answer.
More with your questions and answers with Dr. Cardillo. Don't go away.
Welcome back to Healthline. I'm Suzanne Watley along with Gregory Zarian, and Dr. Anthony Cardillo, an emergency room physician at Glendale Adventist Medical Center, is here to answer viewer questions that you've been kind enough to send to us. And I love this one. I tell my kids not to swallow their gum because I've heard it stays in your body for 7 years. Is that true, Dr. Cardillo?
False, 100%. Nothing stays in your body, in the intestinal system, for 7 years. There is a condition where a child can swallow something and they develop what's called a bezoar, which is, it's hard to explain, but gum will not do it, okay? Gum will be metabolized. It will get through the GI tract, okay? So
It's so funny because my mother set us up that if you swallow your gum or swallow your hair, there's special places in your stomach where it lives.
Right, so that's the bezoar.
Mother, come on.
What's some of the weirdest stuff that you've seen kids swallow? I mean, you must see everything there in the emergency room.
Everything from coins to rocks to peanuts, and that they put things up their nose, and pen caps, and the list goes on. Staples. I mean, anything that you can. Okay, you know what? Anything this big or smaller, they've swallowed.
They can ingest.
Anything that can get into their mouth, okay, and not make it into their GI tract, we see in the ER.
Doctor, one of the questions I got is, tap water over bottled water?
Again, the trillion-dollar question, fueled by industry. In most cities, tap water is perfectly purified and able to be.
There's fluoride in it. There's a lot of celebrities that will
yeah.
only drink tap water now.
Yeah, there's fluoride. It's fluorinated. Now, certain cities get their tap water from different sources, okay, different rivers and whatnot, and so there's some concerns about that, and so it depends on where you live. But for the most part, tap water is a very, very clean and healthy source of hydration. We had a little bit of a setback here in Los Angeles. They did some studies recently, and they found a lot of pharmaceuticals in tap water because they weren't filtering out a lot of the pills that people were throwing away into the sink that makes its way to the plant where the water is recycled. Bottled water got a bad rap recently because of the BPA, the chemical that's lining a lot of the plastic bottles, seeping into the water.
Well, it's also not healthy for you to leave your bottled waters in the trunk of your car because of the heat, and that soaks, that absorbs into
anywhere
the water.
where there's heat. So it's not just in your car. The car became the suspect because you have your bottle, it's sitting in your cup holder, a day goes by, you come back and drink it again, your car is out in the hot sun, but you're at a baseball game for a couple hours. The bottle is out in the hot sun as well. Anything like that, where a bottle has exposure to heat, sunlight heat, okay? Not a good idea.
We've had a problem, particularly here in Glendale, with chromium-6 appearing in the tap water because of the, the aerospace
runoff.
industry and the absorption of the groundwater of some of the effluent from the aerospace industry that we had here for so many years. What is your best advice for people who want to ingest and give to their kids the healthiest water?
Yeah. Home filters. Okay, get a really good home filter for your
Brita, Pure.
Exactly. Either one that's in the refrigerator or in your sink. Just a really good filtration device to filter out as much as you can from the city's processed water. Okay, again, it's not rocket science. When you turn your tap on, the water's coming out. You have to just trace back where that water has been through all the underground pipes, everything it's taken to get there. Now, we in America have done tremendous, have had tremendous advancements in how we purify our water and how we get it to the tap compared to other countries where they're still battling just having water that's bacteria free.
Sure.
Okay, so we've done a great job. But when you talk about the chromium-6 and other chemicals that do make it into the water source, filter. Okay, even water out of the bottle, has some problems with it as well. It depends on which company you're dealing with, which bottled water you want to ingest.
At home, I have a reverse osmosis system, so the tap water goes into a pre-filter, it goes through one of these little membranes, and then it goes through a post-filter, and then it finally fills up a tank, and I have a special faucet. And it's a little bit expensive, but it's not that much. I mean, you can do that including installation for, I think, less than $250, and you do have to replace the filters, but I can go up and I can be pretty confident when I'm taking out some water to fill up my little water bottles for my girls that I'm giving them the best possible water.
Yeah.
Of course, I put it in a plastic bottle to send it to school. I should probably get some
Aluminum can.
reusable. Now, but what about aluminum? Because we hear aluminum linked to Alzheimer's disease.
Yeah,
and
that's
throw
been
away your
discounted.
aluminum pots.
No, that's been discounted. Aluminum is probably the safest right now. In fact, a lot of the beverages that come in aluminum cans are lined to prevent that seepage of the aluminum content, and most beverage companies will go through extensive stabilization tests to make sure that there's no aluminum uptake into their beverage. Okay, so they'll have that beverage tested to see what the aluminum count is before and after. So, I think that's been discounted enough. If I had to choose between plastic bottles versus aluminum bottles to send my children to school with as a container, I would clearly choose the aluminum. Really, what are your choices, right? I mean, at what point do you start becoming so paranoid about all of these concepts? You want your children to go to school and have filtered water. You have to put it in something. Well, choose the item that's the least dangerous.
I always tell them, don't drink the water out of the drinking fountain at school unless you're dying of thirst, because there was a very scary study done of the tap water that was coming out of the water fountains in the LA school district.
Have you ever just
and there was a lot of lead.
Have you ever just looked at the tap from a water fountain and looked at where the water's coming from? Okay.
Yes.
But yeah, lead is a concept that you have to be concerned with. But again, just look at the tap and trace back and say what's coming out has traveled a long way to get there, right? And again, not rocket science, right? You look at the tap and it's all green and brown, don't put your mouth on it.